Hey everybody, welcome back to Northern Lion Plays The Binding of Isaac Rebirth. We're going to random again. We're going to do a few random runs here, because I like almost all these characters, and Maggie is maybe one of the ones I like the least, but that's okay. I was hoping maybe we get a little bit of Blue Baby love. I do love his deal with the devil chances, but Maggie's Maggie, you know. E1PC VX9V. If you're wondering, again, why I am not getting the secret character, I said in the last episode, it's something I plan on doing ASAP, but I won't be doing it on YouTube. There will be like a VOD from a stream, because it does seem like the kind of... Ooh, it's so good. Smartfly, so hot this year. It does seem like the kind of thing that's better served for live content, where I can... If something goes wrong, I can restart and not be like, God dang it, I just wasted like an hour and a half trying to make a video that nobody's even gonna like, because it's all like, you know, I don't accomplish anything, yada yada. You may disagree with that assessment, but that is the way that I'm gonna pursue it. That's the way that's the way Dad did it, that's the way America does it, and it worked pretty well so far. I haven't tried it yet. I know the conditions required, and it doesn't seem that bad at first glance, but I do also, you know, I'm made aware of the fact that it'd be pretty easy to just make one mistake and cost yourself like half an hour of work pretty easily, which, let's be honest, I always forget to drop the left hand. Maybe I'm not the right guy for the job when it comes to that. So I'm going to test something. Let's take damage against the Haunt, like straight away. And that doesn't lower our deal with the devil chance. I don't mind fighting the Haunts on our first floor. I was checking to see how the AI of Revengefly is. The damage is incredible. It really is like the best kind of like revenge item in the game, I think. Even more so than something like Poison Touch, because it works consistently, you know? It just keeps working. And it's going to be able to kill the Haunt pretty easily by itself. So you know what? Even though we did lose a heart in the process over the course of this fight, I'm very happy with the way this went down, because I didn't have to, you know, I'm not going to say stress myself out, but I didn't have to bother myself with doing all sorts of nonsense, like actually having to shoot him. Revengefly pretty much tackled that all by its lonesome. That's something that's, you know, not going to work for us all game, but Revengefly is so good. Is it called Smartfly? I can't remember. He's a smart fly. That's Taj Mowry. If you want to feel old, you should recognize that Taj Mowry turned 114 this year. He is an elder god. It's him and was like Mark. I was gonna say Mark David Chapman, but I'm pretty sure that's the assassin who killed John Lennon. I didn't mean that to invoke that. But who's the guy who was on Hanging with Mr. Lewis? What was they? They're both elder gods. They are, well, I was about to drop a fat Dragon Age spoiler because I just finished it. Which would be stupid of me, because I have not even freaking played Dragon Age Origins. By the way, saying that it would have been a spoiler is not a spoiler. If you're like, oh, you spoiled it, you have no idea what I'm talking about, so don't worry about it. I've never played a Dragon Age game before. I'll admit, I've become a little bit more cynical about games in 2014. I think there's a lot of AAA games that came out and ended up being pretty major disappointments. Unfortunately, we can't open that up as much as I might like to. And normally, I'm not a cynical guy when it comes to games. That being said, one of my favorite things about 2014 in games is that a couple of games came out that I thought were going to be not very good, and then they turned out to actually be kind of awesome. Dragon Age Origins will definitely be playing a role in my best games of 2014 list when that goes up. I don't think I'm going to do a traditional Windies this year, just because it's... I mean, it's a lot of work, but also there's a lot of categories that are just me kind of circle jerking, right? Best 2012 game of 2013, what does that even mean? You know, the game from last year that I played the most this year. It was fun, but I think I'm just going to do a more traditional kind of, you know, top 10 list or something this year. Dragon Age is going to make a... it's going to make an impression on that. And I did not even expect that I would play it, but then, you know, when people started being like, yo, Dragon Age is pretty sweet, I was like, okay, I'll play Dragon Age. And I loved it. I played a little faster than most people did. I think I skipped a lot of side quests and stuff like that, which I am happy about, because they tend to not... The side quests don't tend to be that fantastic, although the character side quests, so the character quests are awesome. I don't think we've been to the, like, any special rooms yet, because we don't have any keys, but anyway. The other one that I was going to mention as a pleasant surprise that I thought was going to not be very good, but turned out to be very, very good, was Shadow of Mordor, which will also be making a bit of an impression on that list. I didn't expect to play either of those games. Instead, I played the crap out of both of them, and I thought they both were really good. I'm not going to tell you what my game of the year is, but, you know, astute guesses can probably figure it out fairly easily for themselves if I had to guess. But there's gonna be a little bit of competition, especially in like the 5 to 10 region. I still don't know what I'm gonna put in there, but there's some stuff that I can think of that'll probably factor highly for me. Smash Bros on Wii U, I imagine, is probably good. I'm not spoiling the list. I'm just going through my thought process right now. You know, Smash Bros on Wii U will probably make an appearance there. I haven't played Bayonetta 2 yet. I should do that. I haven't played enough Mario Kart. I may or may not do that. You know, it's important to recognize my Game of the Year list is not going to be like, oh, too hard. There you go. There's my seal of approval. Too hard deal for little Brimstone. I'll take it. Speed down. Not so good. But we got a speed upgrade just a second before that, so that's okay. But anyway, yeah, like mine, it should not be taken as these are the best 10 games of the year. Rather, these are the 10 games I played that kind of like made the biggest impression on me. There's a Tinted Rock over here we should get. Or, rather, you know, these are my 10 favorite games of the year, maybe. So stuff like Lumino City. I finished Lumino City last night. That will probably make an appearance. I didn't mean to pick that up, actually. I was hoping to maybe be able to go to a curse room. We'll probably still do it and just own our mistake if the curse room shows up. Lumino City, I finished it last night. I think it's uneven, and there's a couple of puzzles that pushed me far beyond the point of frustration. Oh my god, that switchboard with the freaking, like, shape math on it. That was annoying. But I think this, despite it being uneven, really charming and a whole lot of fun. I don't think we're going to be able to go to any of our special rooms here, unfortunately. Remember, we can't do the bomb trick anymore, either. Do you want to just try to, like, run past this guy? Yeah, it worked out a lot better that way. So I'm going to say no to our item room and our shop on this floor, unfortunately, but hey, that's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes, right? I will take a look for a secret room here, even though we can't bomb our way through it. Just seemed like, using my hunch, it seemed like that might be the right way to do it. And you know what? I'll own up to the fact that I don't know if the game's been patched, so why don't we try it at least? Alright, it has not. I'm going to blow these guys up just on the off chance they give us something worthwhile. They did not. That's just a bunch of spiders, really. But I'm still pleased with this floor, strangely enough. Anyway, yeah, Lumino City will probably factor into it. Gods Will Be Watching, a game that some people loved and some people absolutely fucking loathed. That will almost certainly be making an appearance on my list. I don't know what kind of other stuff is going to be in there. Dark Souls 2 will be on there. Trying to think of what else. The Banner Saga might be on there. Banished might be on there. A lot of, like, 2014 for me was actually, though, going back to 2012 games. You know, I played a lot of Prison Architect this year. I know people are going to be like, where's Prison Architect? I know. I've lost the zeal to play it a little bit, but that doesn't mean I don't love it still. What else? Well, EU4, that's a 2013 game, but I played a lot of that. Not just because of the multiplayer series. I had it for a few months in the early part of this year. I'm going to use a bomb here, just because we have Counterfeit Penny. For a few months in the early game of this year, or early months of this year, that was like my go-to game to play in, like February. I was having a really good time finally learning a few more mechanics about what's going on in EU4, and not feeling like such a scrub in our multiplayer series, hopefully. Same for CK2, you know, some new DLC for that. FTL Advanced Edition was huge. That might actually factor into my 2014 list. I hesitate of where to put it, because, like, if it deserves to be on the list, because it starts these arguments, right, that are bullshit. Like, oh, is it really can you put it on your Game of the Year 2014 list? Because technically it's a free DLC for something that came out in 2012. I'm like, well, you know, if you have to debate it, then you don't have to debate it. Like, it should, if you feel like it should be there, it should be there. I sort of feel. Hey, if like so many websites can name like Spelunky their Game of the Year last year when it came out, you know, the HD remake at least came out on Xbox Live Arcade in 2012. I think I should be allowed to say FTL Advanced Edition is up there as well. Anyway, this has been a long and convoluted explanation of what's going on, but I think it's been a weird year for video games. I'm excited to see what my list ends up being, because I really, outside of the top 4 or so, I really don't know where I'm gonna fall. But I do hope that next year is a little bit better for AAA stuff. Not just so that there's more, you know, great games, because there's always a lot of great games, but so that there's more kind of, like, consumer confidence. Companies have got to earn it, though, right? But, like, right now is, like, the most... Magic Mushroom, so good. The most cynical time for, like, the games industry that I've ever seen. Nobody trusts any publisher, with maybe a couple of exceptions. People love CD Projekt Red. You know, Nintendo deservedly has a lot of consumer confidence right now because they had a banner year. They had, you know, I haven't played Bayonetta 2, but Smash Bros. So good. Captain Toad, so good. Mario Kart, so good, etc., etc. So, what do I think about this? This is a great deal with the devil, in my opinion. We're going to take Ceremonial Robes for the Sin Up and the damage upgrade. We're going to take Book of Belial because it's substantially better than Yumheart. And we're going to take Guppy's Hairball just because. I'm of the opinion that kind of, if you've got the opportunity to take a deal with the devil, just take it. You know, as long as it won't get you killed and won't conceivably contribute to you getting killed in the foreseeable future, why not? So we're going to play that Blood Bank a little bit. Play that Blood Bank a little bit, Maggie. It's alright. And again, I'm not saying that people should have more faith in AAA publishers or indie developers for that matter. I'm just saying, you know, particularly when I look at like Ubisoft's games this year, I'm like, Stick of Truth is so good. South Park: The Stick of Truth is a really, really good game. Quite short, I'll admit, if you're looking for a traditional, like, you know, JRPG or strategy RPG or CRPG. I guess C stands for classic. Anyway, if you're looking for one of those, that's probably not going to tickle your fancy, but I thought that game was really good. But everything else, you know, I think I liked Watch Dogs. I played it all the way through. I liked it more than the average person. And my opinion on Watch Dogs pretty much boils down to like, it's okay. You know, like, it's not good necessarily, but it's not horrible. I'm interested to know what people think. What I think is the coolest part of a year where not necessarily everything or anything came out and blew people away is, or not so many things did at least, is that there's going to be so much variety in what people end up remembering from this year, which is really neat. You know, when people think back to like the year 2000, 99, stuff like that, they're all like Half-Life, Deus Ex, and that's great because those games are great, but it's also cool, you know, if we think back to what 2014 was, a lot of people are going to be saying Binding of Isaac Rebirth, deservedly so. And look, I can't be trusted. Let's do it. A lot of people are going to have differing opinions, though, which I think is a neat way of tackling things. Or, you know, I think it's a neat consequence, shall we say, because you're not actively doing anything, so tackling things doesn't seem like the right use of words there. Cool thing about having Tiny Planet in this situation, I realize I haven't talked that much about the actual game right now, but the cool thing about Tiny Planet in our situation is that we also have Little Brimstone. So even if we can't hit anything... Oh, that was dumb. Even if we can't hit any... Please, tears. I need you to stop. Even if we can't hit anything with Tiny Planet, we got Little Brimstone there to kind of foot the bill, which I think is nice. I actually feel okay about the fact that we used 3 bombs there, because we did pick up a decent amount of money in the process. Of course, I would have maybe preferred to not have to go through that 3-bomb deal, but whatever. So I'm going to play this a little bit more with Counterfeit Penny. You know, every time we get the opportunity to get some cash, we should probably take it. I'll admit, I'm eyeing up that boss rush room, I should say. We're at 11 minutes here, and we're going to be going down to Necropolis. Just wanted to shoot that poop so I can get back to full HP and then have a pretty good recourse to gamble a little bit more up here. You never know if maybe Money Equals Power shows up. With Tiny Planet right now, by the way, I am looking for soy milk. I'm looking for a lot of bullshit like that. Tiny Planet also synergizes well with Lump of Coal. And every damage upgrade you get, of course. Maybe some homing as well wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. Are we gonna... Yeah, let's do it. I don't really love the idea of doing this, but at the same time, I don't think it's a bad idea. I am gonna stick with Counterfeit Penny for now. Puberty is... Yeah, you know... Puberty is basically a who cares item right now. This is the run that I would show to people that think Little Brimstone has been nerfed beyond use. Because, I mean, to be fair, I have put myself in a position where pretty much I only want to use Brimstone, or I only want to use Little Brimstone because of the fact that I've given myself Tiny Planet. That being said, it's still good enough to carry me, like, easily here. And yes, okay, we have Ceremonial Robes, and we have Book of Belial, but we just picked those up. Little Brimstone's been doing a bang-up job for us. Is it a 2-heart? Is it on par with the other 2-heart deals? No. The closest it comes is Death's Touch, but I think Death's Touch is still very much preferable to Little Brimstone for a couple of reasons. One is that it's just cooler, like cooler looking, but I do think that if you say Little Brimstone is not worth 2 hearts, based on its own merits, you're being a little bit disingenuous, or maybe just, oh my god, underestimating the item more than you should. So Sharp Plug combined with the Book of Belial seems awesome here. We probably don't need to do this, but I'll do it anyway. I can't hit anything with Tiny Planet, so it's not like this is really benefiting me that much. But yeah, you know, Sharp Plug seems like a decent choice for us here. It's not like we're going to be short on money at all. I wonder if little Brimstone scales with our damage at all? I'm not sure. I don't think it does, because it doesn't seem to be doing any more damage than it did, or any less damage than it did when I had Book of Belial, but who knows. I know, Ruka, it's okay. Why is Sharp Plug good? What does Sharp Plug do? A lot of people have not seen me use Sharp Plug, and that's understandable because I've very rarely actually actively used it over the course of these videos. I only recently, probably like a week or two ago, figured out what it actually does. It's funny how that seems recent, but it's actually like incredibly long ago in terms of like, you know, what I understood about the game, because I've been playing the shit out of it. That was not good damage, by the way. I didn't see that creep on the ground. So Sharp Plug is... imagine it like the IV bag in a way, where when you use IV bag, it takes your red hearts temporarily to give you money. Sharp Plug is like that, but it takes your red hearts to give you, that's change. I bet that rerolls an item. I think we've gone through that. It takes your HP, it takes 2 red hearts in order to give you a full charge on your spacebar items. So if we had an empty charge, which we do right now, we could use Sharp Plug. It would take 2 of our red hearts, which means it might end up taking a Spirit Heart in this situation because we only have 2 red hearts, and would give us another full charge of Book of Belial. It only works when it's at empty charge, which is weird, but you gotta learn how to use it. But it can be really useful, especially with items like, you know, Book of Revelations, Satanic Bible, stuff like that. We don't have that, but we're still doing a pretty good job here. I'm okay with it. Luck down is not something you want to see, but that's okay. And of course, the great thing about Book of Belial, the reason I was so excited to take it and get rid of Yumheart, which you know, it's not useless, but it's not very good, is the Deal with the Devil potential that we now have. Maggie's Wig is a great item as well. Sorry, Mom's Wig. We got rid of Maggie's Wig. I don't know why, but when I say Maggie's Wig, it kind of sounds like I'm talking about like an Austrian, you know, diplomat or something like that. Like her Maggie's Wig. I don't know, that might be German instead of Austrian. I don't mean to offend anyone. I'm just gonna sneak down here and use this. A death card is not enough to kill a Larry Sr. That seems a little out of control to me. Larry Sr. is not that strong. Sun card, obviously extremely good. Hoping that we'll have a good opportunity to maybe do something with that. I would love to become Guppy. I don't think we did on the last run. I wanted to. Oh, I don't have any bombs. Okay. We're doing fine, by the way, from almost every standpoint. Might be nice to have more bombs, though. 99 cents means money equals power would be so good. Oh, I made a mistake. I should have taken the Perthrow rune in with me here. I don't know why I didn't, actually. I guess I was like, well, I'm not going to the second secret room. I won't need to reroll anything. That's a very dumb line of reasoning because second secret room doesn't often have an item in it unless you get one for like blowing up a slot machine or, you know, you, God forbid, sit in there for 10 minutes and play it all the way to completion. Book of Belial also makes it so Tiny Planet is not so useless. I do love Tiny Planet, though. I love it because it's bad. It's like the Power Glove. Okay, Little Gish we don't want to reroll, but we will go in here and, sure. There's another one that I think people don't respect anymore, even though it's still very good, is Dark Bum. So we'll take Dark Bum. And Dark Bum can start paying out with Spirit Arts immediately, as far as I'm concerned. Well, we want the Sun card still, right? We don't want the Perthrow rune? I think that's true. There are some red hearts available, but I'm getting a little tight on time here, so I'm going to head down to the next floor. And yes, our HP is garbage. God-awful. You are not incorrect in that assessment, my friend. However, I have, you know, high apple pie in the sky hopes about our chances here. If I had a bomb, I would blow that up in a heartbeat. We should start getting a lot more consumables pretty quickly as a result of Contract from Below. Now, this feels more like the run that I was kind of hoping would happen on the last run. I was hoping for, like, a, you know, a nice little challenging but interesting run on the last run. Instead, what we ended up with was just the most insanely overpowered run we've had in quite some time. Figured we'd use the chariot card because we have a surplus of it. And that's okay. I mean, it was fun in the process, but at the same time, I prefer this one that's got a little bit more kind of, I hesitate to say theory crafting type stuff going on, but it is nice to be in a little bit more of a an intricate position. Let's put it that way. All right, don't shoot my bomb. I did that for 2 bombs. We're getting a little down to the wire here. I would like to move on a little bit faster. If we have to skip some red hearts in order to get to where I'm going as fast as possible, that's fine. I really don't think that we're going to die on this floor. Boss rush is not something that we have to do, by the way. It's something that we might consider doing. I just fired a little brimstone in the wrong direction. And, you know, the good thing about boss rush is that we only have to do it if we want to, right? Like, we go in, we snag an item. If the item's good, we fight boss rush. If it's not, who cares? We just leave, and maybe we missed out on something in the process, but probably not very much. We will, above all else, you know, boss rush is for personal pride. The donations are real. If possible, we'll buy that for sure. If possible, we gotta donate as much as possible. So I'm gonna jam myself back here. We'll watch the time tick up as time goes on here. At least take me to 650. Give me a foothold here. Doing a good job. I appreciate it. What about 666? We can get there. I believe in it. Okay, this is great. You know what? Fuck the boss rush. We'll stay here and donate as long as we can. This very rarely happens that you get to donate as much as we just did. So I'm very thrilled with that, to be honest with you. And we still may have a small chance of getting boss rush. Just seems unlikely. That is not good damage on my part. It's for you, Dark Bum. Please hurry. Thank you. We will blow this up and then run. Thank you. Maybe red heart's in here, which is why it's so important. Well, the black heart is nice too. We have, oh, I used the sun card by accident. I used the sun card by accident. That is not unforgivable, but very stupid. You know what? I think we can do our item room. If we hurry, I think we can do it. Yeah, that room's meaningless. We'll even put a bomb there and open the golden chest. Stigmata, very glad I did it. Thanks for the HP. The damage is nice too. And a nickel and a key. That's pretty good. Okay, we're good. It's gonna be tight. No question about that. But we'll have Book of Belial. And we'll have 35 seconds or so. I normally grossly overestimate the amount of time it actually requires to beat Mom. But to be fair, if I'm ever gonna, you know, need a lot of time, it's probably gonna be when it's fairly unreliable for me to actually hit Mom as a result of an item like Tiny Planet. But it seems to be going alright. Especially when the feet actually drop. Works out a little bit more nicely for me. Got about 15 seconds. She's almost dead. I think we're gonna be fine. Good. We're gonna take our Polaroid. We're gonna get in that boss rush room quickly. And honestly, I don't really like it that much. Yeah, I'm sorry. I mean, I know that Fat Odd Mushroom is pretty good, but is it worth what I would lose for fighting in that room? And I probably would lose a decent amount. That plus an unknown item, I don't think it's particularly good. You may disagree, especially given... Actually, you know what? We didn't really sacrifice very much to get into that boss rush room, so I don't really mind cutting my losses and just bouncing out of it. I think we're in a very good position nonetheless. I forgot what we even got. I was like, I forgot what we even got from Mom. You gotta forgive me that there are still some, like, vestiges of vanilla life that are gonna take a while to wean themselves out. For example, you used to not get the Polaroid or the negative. From the Mom fight, you used to get an item, and then the trinket would be the Polaroid. It would just drop on the ground along with the item, if I remember correctly. And I must admit, I may not remember correctly because it's been a little while, but I believe that's how it worked. So whenever sometimes I'm like, I've got to make sure I have a reroll ready for Mom. No, you don't. You do not need to do that anymore. Anyway, this run's looking pretty good. I'm excited to see what kind of interesting bonuses we do or don't get on our boss fight here. Deal with the Devil could easily be here. It would be awesome if we could get a Deal with the Devil that gave us Lump of Coal, or it would be awesome if we can get a Deal with the Devil that gave us some guppy chance. Apart from that, I am fairly ill-concerned with what's going on. keys are nice. You know, there's always more golden chests, right? We'll go back and open those if we need to. If we get a lot of keys, but for right now, I'm not intensely concerned with the outcome of that. We should be using Book of Belial more often. It's basically lazy to just not do it, but at the same time, it is very unlikely to be too much of a pressing concern. We're doing a decent amount of damage. And again, I point not to my own damage here, but to little Brimstone as our main damage, you know, output here. It's a really, really good item. It's not as good as Death's Touch. It's definitely not as good as... Did I get shot there? It's definitely not as good as Mom's Knife or Brimstone, but it's still amazing. Where is the secret room, if not in these two locations? Am I out of my mind right now? Certainly it wouldn't be here. Okay, so I guess like that room is just inaccessible for some reason, despite us being able to see it on our map. I could have placed it in the wrong position, but I don't think I did. And this should be what I'm assuming to be a pretty easy boss fight. We'll see, though. Thank you. Dark Bum should pay out on that. No? Okay, it's got one more then. Triachnid, a rare boss fight. Rare-ish, at least. Try to stand in... Like, there's range with Tiny Planet. There's range. It's a little bit trickier to set up. You want to get it to hit on like one rotation just because that's the most reliable, but we got to turn back in order to hit with little Brimstone, which is really my primary focus. So we're definitely going to take Abaddon, but before we take Abaddon, we should take Gimpy. Abaddon's just too good. Extra damage, it does adversely affect your HP, of course, but the damage is awesome, and the evil gives you some... Oh, I guess it doesn't adversely affect it. It gives you Fear Shot and some extra damage, which is more than worthwhile. Let's put it that way. I think this is one of those game-busting deal with the devil items, which is not rare. For like my opinion on that is not like, oh, I'm the only person who appreciates Abaddon. Everybody knows Abaddon's out of control. Does it need a nerf? Well, be careful what you wish for, motherfuckers. You know, you wanted, you said Dark Bum's too powerful, needs a nerf. You say Krampus' head too powerful, needs a nerf. Gives it a nerf, and you're like, well, not like that. Not everybody had that reaction, by the way. And I understand the concern. The concern is not necessarily that the items were nerfed. The concern is that nobody's listening to your concerns. I don't think that's the case, though. I think they maybe just thought, hey, people have been asking for balance changes. We're going to try to give them the balance change, and then it wasn't the balance change that they were necessarily hoping for. I do hope they eventually make it so just Krampus is less common, man. You know, I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, it's an easy fix, because I don't work in that part of the industry. But I think the simplest on paper fix for the whole Krampus issue is just make it so either Krampus shows up less often, or Lump of Coal shows up way more often versus Krampus Head on the boss fight. As the reward for the boss fight, I should say. But I don't necessarily love the idea. Sun card is very good. I don't necessarily love the idea of just making Lump of Coal spawn. I would prefer to make Krampus spawn less. Because if I shouldn't have put a bomb there. If you just make it so Lump of Coal spawns more, then Lump of Coal just starts showing up on like every run. Which is like, it's not bad. I like Lump of Coal, but do you really want an item that shows up every single run? Not every single run, but you know, it would show up probably on like 70% of runs. There's no other item I can really think of like that, except in Mom's Knife in your videos, Northern Lion. Okay, it's you know, straw man I just made up right now. It's all good. It's not the most potent Tiny Planet run I've ever had, nor the most potent one I could hope for, but you know, you gotta admit, we're doing quite a number on this here. My whole thing with Tiny Planet, I'm just reaching out, you know, I'm like the Tiny Planet ambassador. I'm just trying to say, it's not that bad. Whenever somebody skips it, I'm like, oh, come on. It's like when someone orders a hamburger and they're like, can you make sure there's no lettuce on that? And you're like, you know, you don't have to like lettuce, but is it worth making that much of a fuss for? I used to order everything plain. So I'm actually like, I'm arguing against like my own, at least former position. But it was mostly just for the analogy. No, that deal with the devil is not going to work for us, so we'll just go. Like, I think the analogy makes sense. Maybe you don't like lettuce, you can just pick it off yourself, right? Like Tiny Planet, you can just deal with it. On some runs. If you have Mom's Knife, never touch it. It'll ruin your otherwise glorious situation. But I think this really is the, it's a little Brimstone show now. Fine by me. It's a little harder to aim it. It's alright, though. Actually, that should be a challenge run, is, like, just use little Brimstone to win the game. Don't, like, give yourself no actual tears and just little Brimstone. There you go. There's a potential expansion idea for you, for a challenge. Just little Brimstone. You know, beat the game all the way through to Mom's Heart. I think it's not that difficult. You could probably even go further, but, you know, have mercy on people that maybe are not necessarily very experienced in the game. That rerolls everything. I'll do it. I don't care. That is every follower that I could possibly imagine. We also have Lord of the Flies, which you seem to get, like, every time you reroll everything. We have Robo Baby 0.5 and Blue Baby's only friend. We don't have Dark Bum anymore. We have so many fucking familiars. We also have, what I'm guessing is Scorpio plus Cricket's Body. Yeah, alright, this is a pretty good reroll, honestly. Like, we were already in what I would consider a very good position, but this is maybe better? I don't know, we're doing a lot of damage. It's always nice when a reroll kind of moves you laterally and just gives you more variety. Like, we were in a good position before, but this is also pretty good. Alright, so Isaac is not going to offer too much of a threat here. By the way, an item that gets a lot of respect but could use some more, like, I don't think it's getting quite the respect it deserves, is Blue Baby's only friend. That big blue fly that you control. It's hard to control it with, you know, also controlling your tears at the same time. And I would say your tears, if they do damage, take precedence over it. But in a situation like this, you know, it takes us a second to get in range to actually attack. And there we go, we got him trapped, and we've got that doing damage at the same time. It's so good, it does a lot of damage. I've previously, like, not given this item necessarily as much respect as it deserves, and I want to atone for that, because it's actually awesome. Alright, down to the next floor. You know what item is not that awesome? Samson's Chains, but it's cool. So I support that as well. No left hand to drop here. Number one, I'll take it, even though it makes people angry with me sometimes. Charm Shots, Poison Touch, and, you know, we don't have a spacebar item, because we had to get rid of, Book of Belial, unfortunately. So we will take Crack the Sky, which is not very good, in my opinion. I'm still waiting for the renaissance on Crack the Sky. It has not happened as of yet. I will say, you know, if I'm going to express some negativity a little bit about Rebirth, I'm a little disappointed with the transformations. Like, there's the Guppy transformation. The Guppy transformation is as fun as it's always been. It's a hallmark. You know, you want to do it all the time because it's so powerful and it's fun, and you spawn flies, which is rare. It's all good. Lord of the Flies, you know, it shows up now and then. You can fly. The flies that enemies spawn become neutral to you. It doesn't seem that powerful. It's just kind of a little underwhelming. I hope that there's more transformations in whenever the expansion comes out. I hope there's more transformations coming for it, and I would support that. Double Mega Fatty fight should not be that difficult. Trying to, like, if you play your cards right, you got like one enemy up against a wall or something, you actually can attack the other enemy. We should actually make sure that we're firing at all times. As much as I love Blue Baby's biggest fan, or Blue Baby's only fan, we have so many familiars that I really should be attacking at all times. Let's see, do we have special bombs? Looks like Mr. Mega. Just Mr. Mega, but it's better than nothing. Yeah, we have to not rely solely on Blue Baby's only friend, because the fact that we have so many familiars means that would be a total waste. I mean, we've got Rainbow Baby, I think, Mongo Baby, Demon Baby, and Little Steven, and Little Chub, and Abel. And I mean, of course, Robo Baby and Robo Baby 0.5, I think, or Robo Baby 2.0. It is Robo Baby 2.0. And got it confused with technology there for a second. And Blue Baby's only friend. But anyway. Is this the Crack the Sky is a 4-room charge now? Also, we do have Punching Bag, too. Punching Bag's pretty good. It's so disappointing. Why is it disappointing to get the Jera rune, which most people would say is the most powerful rune in the game, probably? Because we already opened up all of our golden chests, man. If it had just spawned, like, a room earlier, or not a room earlier, sorry, like a floor earlier, we could have doubled our golden chests. As it is, if a golden chest drops, we can double it. Great, you know? I mean, then we'll get 2 golden chests. We could have had 8, man. That's 2 chests worth. I should be a little careful, honestly. Like, with number 1, I have to get pretty close to Blue Baby. Getting pretty close to Blue Baby means that there's a pretty realistic chance that I take damage. And a pretty realistic chance that I take damage means there's a realistic chance that I could actually die. Might as well use Crack the Sky. Oh, okay, so we actually do have a big advantage against Blue Baby in that he is going to spawn, he's going to spawn a lot of flies. Those flies will then belong to me. We also have permanent Polaroid invincibility. Yeah, you know, I'm pretty much just going to hang out right at the edge here. I don't think there's anything that can get in our way too much. Well, it was a fun run. It was not necessarily a difficult run, but it was a fun run nonetheless. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, click the like button. It helps out a great deal. And, of course, subscribe as we continue our road towards Platinum God. Thanks for watching, and, of course, I'll see you next time. Before we go, let's just take a look here. I don't think we got anything new. 327 still. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.